some stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, well, damn. Um, it's all good, I guess. So I'm supposed to now. I got a new camera, so I'm looking here now for this week. All right, cool.
Yeah,
Now I got to look out my side eye to see what's going on. For those who aren't watching on YouTube, this is Big Games BS brought to you by Den Media Group, presented by thehumidor.com. Thehumidor.com is the go-to website for all your cigar needs. Cutters, lighters, torches, humidipacks, humidors, obviously cigars, boxes, all at a reasonable price, cheaper than most other discount stores, brick and mortars, different things of that nature. Go there, type in sports then at checkout, you get another 20% off. So basically what I'm doing, what I'm providing for you right now is if you spend $150, you get free shipping, and then you also get your taxes paid for, and you get a 13% discount after taxes. So like it's pretty damn good, pretty damn good deal. So I'm here to save people money. On this Friday here during a recession, gas prices are going down, but gas prices are still sky high. All kinds of other bullshit going on. So price of bread going up, price of a brick going up, price of cigars coming down. So control your vices. Inside of the greatest brick and mortar, I'm not going to say the only brick and mortar you should support. Support your local ones, but the one that I support is Goodfellas Cigar Lounge. Just phenomenal. My place where everybody knows your name. It's Cheers. Again, if she doesn't understand Cheers references, gentlemen, I'm not even going to say she's too young for you. I'm just gonna say she's too young in general, like in mind, because I'm learning there's some young girls that got some old woman tendencies, and that's good. That's good for the culture. These new girls that don't cook, clean, do any of this other stuff are the ones you got to be wary of. But here we're doing this Sunday, excuse me. We're doing the FSU Black Alumni Brunch. Check out everywhere across the nation. We're doing something very similar. You can be white and come, please. Come hang out, mingle. We're not like that. We're good people. We're a friendly bunch. If you come in, we'll embrace. You can embrace the culture. You can have Hennessy too. It's bottomless mimosas here. I believe it's $10 for the bottomless mimosa. And I'm trying to work out me to do a little brief interview here for the Jacksonville one of the original four, Charlie Hunt Sr., original four black football players at Florida State. Great man, coach, old and cool. But old people don't always come on our time. I've been trying to get a hold of this man since last Sunday. And he finally called me back. I left a message. He called me back. I call him back immediately, and this man sends me the voicemail every time because I know he doesn't recognize my number. And I'm trying to get his son to say, like, hey, man, tell your dad I'm not a bill collector. I don't want no money from him. I'm not Sally Mae. I don't even know if Sally Mae went that far back. But, but again, after talking to Barry Smith this time last week, it just made me want to interview them again, tell their story even more. It's dope. I'm sure every school has similar stories with their original African American players. I didn't go to every school. I went to Florida State. So maybe this can give people motivation to do what they need to do. Make sure you're checking out our reels. The easiest way to support the cause is to click, like, subscribe, and tell a friend. That's all you got to do. I don't even care if you listen to it for more than 2 minutes. 2 minutes is like the happy medium. You got to give me that. But just every episode, just go click on the different links. That really helps us. You may learn something. You may not. You may think that this is trash and I wish James would go away. I really don't care. But I do care about the opportunity to make money and then go support our sponsors. I had a great time yesterday. I am like so excited to learn how to hunt with bows and arrows now. Like the Indian in me, the Seminole in me, even though I think we technically were cheating, but who cares? I didn't realize how badass a crossbow was. And boy, when I tell you that crossbow does not tickle if it hits you. That thing penetrated. So it was you're shooting it. You're not shooting a gel target. You're shooting a hard foam target. So basically, simulating the flesh of any creature, like human. Well, not human because that's not a self defense weapon, even though it can be a self defense weapon. It is a weapon of a weapon for hunting, but we didn't even have the spear tips. We had straight up just the regular thing you get, and it penetrated 12 inches. And that let me know something. Women, y'all full of shit. Y'all are so cap. 12 inches is a lot. That 12 inches would have literally, if that would have hit me, that would have penetrated me and through my stomach or through my body. Like if you're one of them women talking about you want 10 or more or whatever that you have, and I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I have. I know I haven't had complaints, but I do know this. Your cervix is dented. That's what's going on right now. So I mean, that's a lot of penetration, ma'am. You can die. Be careful. And if you're a fella and you're out here just giving that to normal chicks, sir, you're doing a disservice to the nation. Go get paid. Create an OnlyFans. Go get in one of these communities and get paid. You have a weapon. So just something that I just learned from that. I will have some more video here in a couple of weeks. We'll have the video of me shooting that. I shot close range, 25 yards, and then 50. It's pretty accurate, and we're actually doing something called sighting it. So, it was still trying to get where it needed to get. So in news today is going to be kind of all over the place. It's going to not really be as FSU, as Jaguars, as focused on any of those things, or even football in particular, as it is just on a variety of topics. We'll call it like a potpourri type of episode. And I want to get into this golf fiasco, but I don't really think I have time to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and start with what your racism showing. And this is what I mean. And this is funny because I'm not defending these guys because I think it's dope. It's hilarious. I would use this troll too. But at the same time, like this was really, 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 really a bad look. It is sometimes like, in an attempt to be funny, it's sometimes it's a little bit hurtful because I imagine what it would be like if I were on the other side of that. So people who don't know, certain lockups have different kind of color uniforms depending upon where you are. Some have blue. A lot of people know about orange. In particular, TV shows like Orange is the New Black have popularized orange uniforms. And prison and stuff has made people really, the liberalization, all this other stuff, it made people think that prison is just easy. Now, I will say this: I have a family member who just got out in April, and when I found out what his last 6 months of his jail bid were like, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little jealous. The man literally was on work release, and I didn't even know they had work release where you're basically like you only spend the night in jail, and then he had weekends home. As long as he reported when he was supposed to report, he was fine. It's just crazy that happened, but I don't think this will happen. So, University of Miami, they just put up a lot of stuff on their social media. They rented out a water park down in Miami, and people do this. The AKAs just rented out Animal Kingdom at Disney World for their boule. Don't ask me what the hell that means. I just know about AKAs because every woman, family is one. But we got the video of it, and what they're doing is teams do this. Like we used to go rent out like maybe like a putt golf. We would go do not race car, go kart driving. People have done that was not laser tag. They do laser tag too. Paintballing, different shit like that. Miami decided to go to a water park, and so that you look like a team, everybody wears the same goddamn uniform. So let's put Yeah, I am TJ. This is TJ. This is what shooting guns get you. Having guns, tobacco, and liquor. Like, I tell people all the time, like when people talk, my bad, we're gonna get to this Miami thing, but TJ, shout out to Double Fries, No Slaw. If you go to Guthrie's and you order anything other than that, your special needs. But I don't know why people talk shit to me. I can fight. I play fullback, and literally every sponsorship I have backs that up. It backs up that I'm probably not the like TJ and them got Delta 8 gummies. That shit gets you high. I don't like all of my stuff is how everybody typically starts fights and ends them. Yet people say, I'm gonna try the fullback. The guy who has a liquor, tobacco, and gun sponsorships. Like if anything matches somebody better, oh man, I really wish I could do this for name, image, and likeness. This has been awesome in college. I'd have been. But anyways, play the video. University of Miami guys, having a good time out here in their oranges. They can hear the person talking.
It's funny. Even though everybody on the football team was a little upset about this video, we're just trying to figure out what made you think we were prisoners. You saw a bunch of us in these shorts, University of Miami shorts. We all go to University of Miami to play football. We rented out the park to have a good time that day. And we're just trying to figure out, why did you think we were prisoners?
All right. In defense of the person who made the TikTok, the original TikToker, you saw a bunch of people in orange.
Yeah, I mean, why?
A bunch of black guys in orange at a water park. We have been marketed to think that this is what prison looks like. They brought the yard. But then comment again, it's like what I always tell people. At a certain point, we got to let our common sense become common. Ain't that much good behavior in the world gonna have them do this. Now, what probably could have happened more logically, seeing as people think slavery was abolished, right? And it wasn't abolished. Like you can be basically it shifted to the prison industrial complex in which we know today. Basically, these guys have committed crimes and now they are slaves to the state or slaves to the nation, and they can be contracted out for menial tasks like this. So maybe they're cleaning a water park. But if this is what prisoners cleaning a water park looks like to you, man, you were not raised by Isla Mae Adams. Like now, we weren't prisoners, but my grandmother is literally the only person that I've ever seen clean an entire house without lifting a finger. And I mean, that shit is spotless. It's just when my grandmother makes a command that she is very much so Gordon Watkins' baby girl. Because my great granddaddy used to say, when I chew my cabbage, I do not chew it twice. I think at the age of 38, I believe that means I'm not a man who repeats himself. So like when he says some shit, you do it. But that was very much so my grandmama. There'll be any given Sunday type stuff if that's what your sponsors are. Jamie Foxx. Oh boy. Oh yeah, man. I'm talking about, man. Listen, y'all seen the big game tailgates. And James talking about NIL stuff. So let's save some of that stuff for NIL because I'm going to have an NIL segment at the end of the day because that'll be my kind of pseudo hate o'clock. In fact, for Green Acres and being and Z and them being such great guys, I'm going to give them we're going to give them a good NIL hate-ish o'clock, more so just your sponsorship. But yeah, that's kind of fucked up though. Like nobody wants to be having a good time and just say, hey man, look at these guys. Like that ain't what your mama want to see. Like your mama's like, hey baby, weren't y'all at Wet and Wild? They're saying that the prisoners was running wet and wild. It's just sometimes, guys, I'm here to tell you, just if you see a bunch of black people that are in shape and they're wearing orange, let's just not automatically assume that it's prison break. All right. Yeah, there are a few. There's few
lighter skin people.
There's fair skin. No, but there's there's no NCAA team is 100% African American. You got to have your quarterbacks and a few offensive linemen. Like that's just where it's coming out to. But that was funny. But we're gonna stick in the vein of the University of Miami and gross miscalculations and exaggerations that have been made or stories that have been told. There isn't a person on this planet who is more intense and kind of scary than a one who I affectionately call Murder Ray Lewis. And I call him murder because if you haven't done your research, nobody knows what happened that night, but 2 people died. And he was in the car with them. And I'm not saying he did it. He knew, he didn't snitch, but there's a lot of bodies. The only thing that Ray does better than hide dead bodies or who killed them is procreate. Because Murder Ray, like, the only thing I do, I'm gonna even put this out there for anybody who says that I'm a hater, right? The only thing in life I do better than Ray Lewis is pull out. That's the only thing I can accomplish in my life. Ray got a ton of kids, and he's going, and nobody prays. The thing I've noticed the most is my teammates who were the most hellish had the best prayers. Like, I mean, they talk to God like they get God on direct connect. And you be like, weren't you just in the club with the with titties and bottles in your mouth? And now you pray like that prayer ain't going. I gotta say, I used to have to say another prayer after they prayed because I don't think their prayer went through the ceiling. But it sounded very with conviction, and that's why I believe a lot of this stuff is acting. But that's another show, another thing, whatever. Believe what you want to believe. But Murder Ray can tell a story, and the way his cadence is, his intensity, it draws you in. Go back about a decade ago when for some reason Ray Lewis was just making random ass stops from across the country and going into high schools, which technically, well, he's not convicted, but like if he were convicted, he could go to jail for this. But it was great motivational speech. And I remember he said, you got to be pissed off for excellence. There's a lot of good dope ass quotes like C.T. Fletcher and those guys. But play these. Me and my friend talk about this at the Cigar Lounge. And when I go back to Tallahassee this weekend, this is what I'm going to do. I like going to the Cigar Lounge because nobody tells more elite lies than old black men. And Ray Lewis is an old black man. But play that real quick, Miles. And it's a really good story at the end. It's just the first part is hard to digest.
Me to the office, and I walked in. I got like hold my so I don't get emotional because this moment really changed my life.
Please do. This is great.
And I walked in to the office, and he was crying, and he looked at me and he said, "Miami just gave you a scholarship," and I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, like the University of Miami just gave you a full ride scholarship," and I was like, "Coach, are you serious?" And he was like, "We saw you play your last high school game.
So I can't hear. Did he get past the
The way you played got
Okay.
you into college.
Change your
4
life.
days, man. I got in the car. I had I had 1 pair of jeans. I had 3 white t-shirts. I had 1 pack of number 2 pencils, and I had 2 folders. And that's what my grandmother dropped me off with $20 worth of food stamps. She said, "This is all I can do."
Wow.
I said, "I'll make it."
Wow.
Coach called me to the office, and I walked in. And I got to hold my so I don't get emotional because this moment really changed my
Please
life.
do. This is great.
And I walked in to the office, and he was crying.
Okay, so
and he looked at me and
like
he
that
said,
part, I'm gonna
"Miami
tell you the
just
part
gave
I
a
believe.
scholarship." And I
Because
was like,
not every
"What?"
football player, a
And
lot
he
of
was-
football players have this similar story. A lot of us came from poverty. And some of us, I say myself included, our situations were rough, but other people had it rougher. And I know my grandmother, who I love to death, she gets upset sometimes when I share our story because she's like, I don't want people going around believing that I let my baby, my mother, go around without stuff. And it's just different. Like if we never left, my mom never left New Jersey, right? Or she moved us back, my life would I'd be I'd probably be a different person, but the wealth was consolidated, right? Because I would have stayed at Big Daddy's house. So we wouldn't have had any rent. The only thing we had to pay is taxes and utilities and a cell phone bill and cable. And my uncle was there. My grandmother was working up until like right when I was in high school. My mother would have worked. My uncles would have been there. So like if I needed school clothes, I probably would have had the freshest, flyest gear if we would have been in New Jersey. We weren't. We were in Florida. We were away from everybody else. So there were times when my grandmother sent money. but we didn't have as much. My father wasn't there. He didn't pay child support, like as a lot of people say. Now he did some other stuff, but even then, like it was just right. And my mother could have worked more, but she decided not to, because if she would have worked more, then I would have had less supervision, which would have been even more opportunities for me to get in trouble. So that's just it's a catch-22. It's why it's funny to see people say they're trying to force people to have kids these days, but they're not doing anything to make the world cheaper for those of us who have kids. Another topic, another day. Not here to get into political agendas. I'm just here to show you what the lace it out. So I believe the one pair of jeans, 3 shirts, $20 food stamps, stuff of that nature, right? Now, this man said he had no scholarships 4 days before signing day, and at the University of Miami called him, and his coach cried, and I believe his coach might have cried. But Ray Lewis has also talked about going on an official visit to the University of Miami in the past. But forget that part. I want y'all to know something about Ray Lewis, because Ray Lewis's story is that of struggle, and it's a very inspirational story without this shit, right? So this is what I don't understand, why people have to you don't have to sprinkle extra struggle hot sauce on top of a spicy struggle dish. It's already a struggle, bro. Like, it's inspirational as fuck. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But a little bit about Ray Lewis right here, man. Murder Ray was a high school All-American. So what that means is America, not even just continental, because Alaska and Hawaii count too. In all 50 states, Ray Lewis was considered one of the best players in America in 1992. Not now, where you kind of got to be a little smart to go to college. But back then, when you really could be that stereotype that everybody's uncle told them, if you're good enough, they'll get you in. Bitch, it ain't but so many high school All-Americans in 1990 motherfucker too. You're telling me you didn't have a scholarship and you were a high school All-American. Okay, that might not, anything can happen, right? Ray Lewis was voted by the FHSAA, not one of overall football careers, not of college, high school careers. Ray Lewis was voted as one of the top 100 players to have ever played high school football in the state of Florida, the state that consistently has more players go to the NFL, as of recent, a state that has one in every, I think, 150, maybe 200 eligible players, meaning seniors. One out of every 200 seniors in the state of Florida goes on to play FBS football. You want me to believe you didn't have no offers, bro? Lie to your pastor. He ain't got to lie to me, man. Like, that is people tell these stories all the time, and some of them, like Gronk, is a real story. But Ray, you came up with no dad. And your dad went to the rival high school. Everything you wanted to do was to beat your father's name and image because you were mad. You all these things, man. It's just like, but why are you lying your ass off on national TV, bro? About this. This is researchable. It's verifiable. Google Ray Lewis. It's on his Wikipedia page. And if you don't believe Wikipedia, the other articles are there too. Like, Ray, why lie about this? I can see you lying about having 10 kids, because 10 it's excessive. Everybody don't need to know your business. But you can go motivate a kid, like the 52 car push-up game that you do. That's motivation. Being undersized, maybe these different things that made you not being dressed. That's it's like Ray Lewis trying to tell people, man, I felt tried and I felt undervalued in the NFL. I felt like they didn't give me my proper shot. Like he wasn't a first round draft pick. It's coaches and cap, man. coaches and Cap like go hand in hand. It doesn't make sense. And now, less egregious, just keeping in light of stuff. But real talk though, the only reason I know a lot about Murder Ray is because my junior year in high school is when he got jammed up after the Super Bowl in Atlanta when those two people died. And just to read his story in ESPN the magazine about the things that he had to do to mentally prepare himself and make himself stronger. They did not have a celebrity portion. They held him without bail. They didn't have a celebrity portion, so they had to put him in the hole. So 23-hour lockdown, couldn't see anybody else. And people are screaming and stuff. He's doing push-ups to go make himself go to sleep. Like he's, he doesn't know if he's getting out. He doesn't have any communication outside of his attorney. And then that next year, the Ravens win the Super Bowl. It was crazy. And then he got the MVP, but couldn't even say, I'm going to Disney World because of the stigma with the trial, which I still think is bullshit. Because I think that alone would have been an amazing story of how, even though it doesn't work consistently, but how innocent till proven guilty and how you can pull yourself up amongst any kind of circumstances. Do you see what I'm saying right now? Ray Lewis's story is motivation enough, aside from him having to lie about playing fucking football. Now, one of the other things in football that you'll really notice, and this is why it's funny when old men get on these new age kids. I got hoochie daddy shorts. I like them. I got thighs in print. I like showing them. It's marketing. It's advertising. I like my clothes being tailored. I'm a big guy. I don't need to wear baggy shit to look bigger. I'm trying not to look like I'm 400 pounds. I want to look like I'm the 285 felt that I am. Even though I'm trying to get back down, that COVID weight had me looking sexy as fuck. Almost dead, but I look sexy, I think. I want to get down to that, but like minus the COVID. But coaches in football slang and terminology are really wild in of itself. Football is a sport that grown, oversized men play in capri pants, in tight capri pants. And it's supposed to be like the most masculine game that you can play. We're looking for the coach from Oklahoma thing. Yeah, Brent Venables. But coaches say some of the wildest shit. I had a coach, God rest the dead, defensive ends coach. One of the things that I've always heard him say, like a rat pissing on cotton. You guys are softer than mice pissing on cotton, or Coach Andrews with the things that he says. I wish I knew your daddy 18 years ago. I'd have gave him 50 cents for the condom. Or Bobby saying, you got to play the game with a reckless abandon, total disregard for personal safety. Get up in them 6 inches and punch. It's a little. I know Bobby didn't mean that sexual, but in immature mind, you could take that because 6 inches and punch is what most of us are playing the game with anyway. My position coach, catch all pitches and passes with great eyeball concentration. No daylight in the cavity, 2 hands in the thicket. Those are the things he said every freaking day. That defensive ends coach, Jody Allen, it's to this day I remember this. It's because you heard something that was so random and so gay that it froze time. And we were doing, I believe, inside drill. So inside drill is chaos. All you guys love 7-on-7, and that's for the frou-frou wine and cheese crowd bullshit. That ain't football. Inside drill is chaos. It's like the closest thing to war that you can do. And I know people don't like those analogies, but like bodies are flying, people are screaming, medics are called, shit's exploding. Like it's just wild. It's like just looking at it as a freshman who had never seen anything like this before, I was intimidated. And one day the offensive line beat the living shit out of the defense my freshman year. And I heard Jody, when we broke up to go get our juice, and right before that, Jody had his defensive ends coming over there. And he yelled this out. Now, if you got kids, cover their ears because it's graphic. I needed someone to tell me to cover my ears at 18. And Jody said, he slammed his visor. It said, "Why don't you bend me over and fuck me in my ass then?" And everybody stopped. It was like, It's like Don't Be a Menace when the guy was like, take me to jail, lock me up, throw away the key. I ain't afraid to fucking nothing in the ass. It was like that, and then everybody stopped like, whoa, can't co-sign with that, coach. When Jody said that, I never looked at Jody the same. Now, Jody, toward the end of his life, completely did a 180 from what he was as a college coach. Man, was damn near a minister, had a beautiful wife, great kids, phenomenal father. Like, kind of felt bad for the way he coached when he was younger. When he was just in there, like, coaches say wild shit. Jimmy Higgins, offensive line, long-term offensive line coach, some of the best offensive line in Florida State history, used to say shit to kids like, man, you have a body that only a mother could love. Told a kid, Andrew Henry Kennedy, who looks great, by the way, now. Doesn't look like an offensive lineman at all. One of them skinny-ass, light-skinned cap-ass motherfuckers. Like, legitimately, he is a Kappa. But he told HK, he said, what you need to do, Sean, is we need to break your body all the way down to about 185. HK was about 365 to 185. And then we'll build you all the way back up. And then you might be worth some shit. Because the day I recruited you, my ass must have been fucking drunk. Told this motherfucker this in front of a room full of people, have no idea. You soft motherfuckers right now going around shooting people because a girl didn't circle yes on your do you like me. These motherfucking coaches would have just demoralized your spirit. Coach Go 30 is hilarious to me because he kind of captured the spirit, but ramped that shit up by 3 times. And that was Bobby Bowden's Florida State. Bobby was a saint, but that motherfucker had some goons working for him. But I've never heard anybody head coach say this shit. This right here would have made me like question everything. Go ahead and play what Coach Venerables said, because this has a lot of built up sexual tension and shit in it. Like, it's very weird. Like, even the descriptors, like just the hand signals and just, I mean, you know, this is the kind of action that I would love to have with the opposite gender. But like, I've never heard a man describe anything in football quite like this.
It's been just like you would expect. The fire hose is fully inserted in my mouth here, we've been blowing and going. And so it's been just like you would expect. The fire hose is fully inserted in my mouth here, and we've been blowing and going. And so it's been just like you would expect. The fire hose is fully inserted in my mouth here, and we've been blowing and going. And so
I mean, I don't know. I kind of have an idea what he was trying to like say. Like, you know, when you cut on a fire hose, it's a lot of pressure and stuff that explodes, you know, in your mouth and like that. Maybe that's what he's describing right now. But like, I'm gonna just say there might have been a better way to describe this, right? Like,
I don't know what he's describing.
He's describing how it's been like for him to be a head coach at Oklahoma. Yeah. And blowing and going ain't helping right now, bro. Like, but I put it like this. Coach Andrews and Coach Allen were defensive coaches. And the wildest statements came from the defensive coaches. Brent Venables is a longtime defensive coordinator at Clemson University before he got over there. A lot of pent up, repressed sexual tension right there in that statement. But, like, you know, I just think Coach could have probably found a better way to describe that. That's just my opinion, though. I've never been in that situation. Never had to blow and go. I've had to blow and go, but I've never known what it felt like to be blowing and going. But when you say you put a water hose to your mouth, that means you unhinging your jaws, and no man should have to do that. I'm just saying. I mean, but then again, let's think about this. And I think James put this here. Bro, I have questions about Clemson defense now. Remember that D-line that was grabbing that guy's junk? Just saying. Like, he wasn't grabbing the junk, bro. That guy was taking 2 fingers and trying to shove it through a guy's tights from Ohio State. Like, that is penetration. That's technically rape. So, like, but now they say, you know, and my guy DeHaven, who got coached by Jimmy Higgins on Twitter, said Jimmy put fat ass at the end of every time he barked at us. I mean, it's just, you know, like, again, but, you know, Is there? But the funniest thing is this, and I have some questions too about just women in general and their and the size thing that they think men have. But like, you know who has the best fat jokes? Fat people.
Yeah, of course.
I heard it was like Def Comedy Jam for fat people when our offensive line got together. And one of the best was a teammate of mine who's from Jacksonville, lives here. Ronnie Lucky Lumford. And look, really, the funny thing is all these fat people aren't fat in today's game. Like Lucky's like 6'6", 365 at one point, and they're recruiting all kinds of guys at him. But they used to call him Big Circle because he was 300. He was 360 degrees. So, but Lucky would come in and have the best fat jokes, and they were all jovial and shit, but no fat shaming that really went down because we were all large individuals. I actually thought I was small for most of my life because I was just around. They were so big that I had to get around normal people to realize, like, oh, I'm a large mammal. I'm bigger than most humans. Like, I was like, shit. Like, when people tell me, like, yo, I'll shake somebody's hand. God damn, that's a firm, that's big paws right there. Yeah, to you, maybe. But I just shook a motherfucker's hand who's got like 12 feet circumference or whatever, fucking 12 inches circumference. I was like, I thought I had small hands. I'm over here feeling like I'm Trump or one of them cats with little tiny hands. But that's like I said, Coach is wilding. It's just it's nothing new, but it's just like, I don't know if you can recruit my kid. Talking about putting fire hoses in your mouth and blowing and going. That's a lot, man. But another thing that I want to kind of go back to with, so the next few things we're gonna go kind of backwards a little bit. We talked about the discrepancies between the WNBA All-Star Trophy and the NBA All-Star Trophy. Somebody gave me some context to it. I'm sure Steph Curry and the guys get something too, but they got like it was made by Tiffany's, so it's pretty expensive. I guess Tiffany's is like the jewelry place that all women typically love, I guess, and they got like a cool swag bag with it. So like they got other stuff besides just a little teacup. Yeah. But I'm still like, they could have like,
there's no need for that.
Like, why has it got to be that small, man? Like, I know it's a bit, 12 inches may be a bit much, but size does matter. Like, we can get her something, but moving forward into the last part as I stop being silly. Name, image, and likeness is something that, again, I'm going to keep talking about because it's in the news and there's a lot of hot topic buttons, but there's opportunities to really build the brand, the overall brand of the young athlete. This weekend we're going to have a Micanopy 1851 event, and we're talking about with two former Noles, Jacoby McDaniel, who was one of the top players in the state of Florida when he came out, I think like #1 D tackle in the nation, 5-star prospect. Now is your realtor. And then Lonnie Pryor, who was a fullback, damn good one too, who now is in sales. They've both of these guys have made a career outside of football, and we're going to talk about transitioning from the career and what you can do in your 4 years that can help set you up for the next after that. It's really about building the overall brand of the athlete. And there are a lot of things that have been going on in the world in general, but definitely in name, image, and likeness, in the name, image, and likeness world. And hold on, let me check something out. So Michigan and these collectives, a lot of these bigger collectives, have been doing, across the board stuff. So one of the things Michigan just did was they partnered with the National Guard Association or National Guard of Michigan to like do an event a marketing event. So people don't know, recruiting is the marketing is under marketing in the military branches. So a lot of the camps I do are with recruiting, but it's all marketing dollars that get to that because their job is for retention and bringing guys on. But that deal is cool because those players can't go get it. These guys know the different things, but like some of these articles are written a little bit more intense than what they actually are saying. And then so for every one of those that's fluffed, makes you think it's going to be more money than it is. You have the Jordan Addison articles, which say absolutely nothing. You have the Rashida articles, which say absolutely nothing. Just a lot of muckraking and a lot of things. But I love Travis Hunter as the example of what name, image, and likeness can be for a student athlete because this is what it should really, really be. You got the video, mouse we just play. Give this chick some clicks too. Yeah, I say that. My bad. Please don't crush me because I said that. I didn't mean anything bad. I'm going to give her name, but yeah, a lot of moving parts. So here's what JSU did. So Slant Tooth Shorty, as we used to call him in my group chat, Travis Hunter got some major dental work done. Looks great, by the way. By a Jackson State alumnus. Her name is Antoinette Lyles. And you can see the name of her company right here, Mint Dental. She hooked him up by giving him a NIL deal that got his teeth fixed. In turn, she's getting a hellacious advertising by the kid who was one of the top prospects in the nation, potential draft pick. They will always go for this. At the time, she had 125 subscribers on YouTube. And I don't know how many views she got, but I'm going to check this out right now. It's got 6.1 thousand views right now, 260 likes. It's going to grow. Mint Dental is the name of the company. And she's got 5 videos. But as she continues to push this, you know what you can do with YouTube? You can get paid. So as this goes viral, she owns the rights to this. She can get paid from this, from residuals. She can get other people that are going to come and see her because of this in the advertisement. She's built a relationship with the young man for the rest of his life. So he'll probably continue to go back. This is what name, image, and likeness can do. A Jackson State alum got connected by Jackson State University to one of its best, biggest, and brightest potential stars. That's people helping people. That's the brand. That is the network. Imagine if a Florida State collective went and actually paid and marketed for former athletes or former Florida State alumni to be able to go get the relationships and the deals that with their kids. Imagine everybody getting guys getting internships with Peter Boulware Toyota, who's one of the biggest and brightest names when it comes to car dealerships. Imagine, if you will, and this is no knock against any of the Florida State reputables, but imagine if it was easier for James Coleman to be able to walk around, have complete access like the former athlete he is and the media member he is with FSU guys, and those guys came and supported me. Imagine the culture that you're creating, and you're big enough to do that. And see, what people keep failing to realize is that all Jackson State did was give a kid executive producer credit over his life. So with the Barstool deal, all it is what you could have done as a collective. It's all name, image, and likeness is, because you can't do enough social media or Facebook clicks and quotes to be able to justify the money that is going to be spent on some of these things. But this right here, this is worth 20. As a guy who did radio, there are companies right now in Jacksonville that are paying $10,000 to $20,000 for less. I just did a 45-second a spot for First Coast News where I had to argue why Maurice Jones-Drew should be in the Hall of Fame. And I know that advertisement costs bread. And she's young. She's a young dentist, or excuse me, oral surgeon, that this does nothing more than help her brand. See, when you don't have it, you got to think outside the box. And that's where people can't understand what the big boys can't wrap their minds around. Is that you're thinking that I'm going to just throw money at this problem, as opposed to listening to what the actual issue is, diagnosing the issue, and connecting the dots. Ownership is what it's all about. Ownership of your brand, ownership of everything in your life. And even Dion, when this happened, he said it's called name, image, and likeness. We're focusing on the image. So I want you to think about that with your respective schools as you continue to bitch about why Jacksonville State, why Jackson State is in the top 10 for a lot of these athletes.
Someone in the comments said she did teeth whitening for the rest of the team.
Amazing. You already have the stuff already built in. There's an official dentist for Florida State. TOI, Tallahassee Orthopedic Institute, is the official orthopedic surgeons. You have you got official team chiropractor. You got official team everything's. Let them still pay their bread for boosters and that right. We need that. But go ahead and spend a little bread over here. You don't have to go through the university. You're going through the collective. Who has the relationships? It's just you're not smart enough to think. You're thinking that it's only one way to say it. You're thinking with an old white man's thought process that I can buy my way into this. Because this is what James Coleman would do, and this is where I bring in Green Acre Sporting Goods. The go-to outdoor experience with Green Acre Sporting Goods, guns, knives, arrows, fishing equipment, safes to make sure you protect your guns and your safety and your equipment safely. Anything that you need. What's the point of having guns if you ain't got no bullets? They're like the only people in the Southeast who got good bullets. Damn near any bullet you want. Ask us, and I guarantee you, I'll text Z, and he'll tell me more about that bullet than you ever knew. You got a specific rifle? He'll tell me about it. It's just all kinds of things that they do. This is me in the name, image, and likeness realm. And imagine me being able to connect these dots. Z is an FSU fan. I believe he's FSU alumni. Z, you can tell me if I'm wrong. I'm going to say that today. There's an extensive database of FSU alumni who could use the good PR, the good publicity that have everything that you want. And you're just choosing not to do it because you're looking at, these athletes just want the bag. These athletes just want that. These athletes just want this. It's just not
funny. Even though everybody on the football team was a little upset about this video, we're just trying to figure out what made you think we were prisoners. You saw a bunch of us in these shorts, University of Miami shorts. We all go to University of Miami to play
football. One of the hardest hitting linebackers in the nation when he came out. They shifted him over to fullback. BJ Dean liked to hunt. He chewed tobacco. He did all kinds of stuff. Man, a outdoor living spot would have been perfect for right there. Would have been perfect. Yeah. And
yes, sir.
It's really about matching up stuff. And I have a guy who always tells me, he's like, James, are you sure that, not enough social media posts could? You're right. If you're only gonna post it, makes absolutely no sense. Does absolutely nothing for you. If you don't embody, name, image, and likeness is about embodying. There's not a thing that I advertise that I won't use or that I don't feel is quality. One of my favorite stories, and even though I still kind of feel foolish to this day because I don't know how much they were going to pay, and everybody drinks that shit now, was me and Denny were one of the first people approached for what's that vodka that everybody likes? Tito's. For Tito's vodka. And I told them straight up, nah, bro. Not going to be able to do it. I said, why? They said, James, this is money. And the sales guy was like mad at me. I was like, I don't drink vodka. You'll never see me with vodka. And I'm always out. So if I'm out and you see me with nothing but Remy, or you see me with nothing but a scotch, and you say, James, I thought you told me that you drink whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm a liar now. And I just can't, and it means more to me than that. And I don't really, like I said, but to me, like, you'll see me at Green Acres. You'll see me talk to Z. You'll see me talk about Z in a first name basis because I talk to Z 2 to 3 times a week. I don't just talk to Z on the first of the month when the contract drops, when the contract renews. I'm like, Z, what can we shoot? Z sent me the thing about AR. Z sent me the thing about Anthony Richardson's wanting to change his name. When I tell you about Biden increasing about bullets, Z tells me about that because it's important for me to tell y'all because I know y'all want to buy bullets. You're not going to see me at no other liquor store than ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. I smoke cigars. I talk to the cigar czar. He educates me on that. I've been on trips with the cigar czar, hung out with some of the top tobacco people. It's funny to hear people brag about how much they know about cigars and how big of aficionados they are when they ain't never met Jonathan Drew. They ain't never met the Padrones. They ain't never met they ain't never had a phone call with the Oliva family or no cats like that. It's funny, but I record here in not Green Acres. Shit shot in here, probably buy stuff from Green Acres, but I record in Goodfellas and I got a stake in it. Because that man knows that I'm gonna help grow his business. I'm saying that as if you're ready to grow your business and your brand and it matches with what I do, let's go make some money together. But if you want to go how to effectively change the NIL and you want to know what these athletes are truly looking for, is brands that embody the images in which they're trying to push for. And you guys, and some of y'all literally argue with guys like me who do this on a day-to-day basis. It's how I make my money. It's how I feed my family. There's a lot of them motherfuckers right now. And if I wasn't good at it, imagine, like, you can't live in America. Like, it's the wildest part is this. I got one income that's about $75,000, right? I could not take care of everybody in my household with just that little bit of money. But that lot of bit of money. But if I fold, everybody in my house fold. But I'm not, because I only do things on brand. So with that being said, man, appreciate you guys. Friday show going to be a little slow. A little shorter because I got to hit the road. I got to go show these athletes how to go get these bags, how to make these monies, how to build their brands for not the 4 years, but for the 40 years after their college career is done. Because again, nobody eats off of nobody eats more off of one touchdown than I did, scoring against the University of Miami. Please support the Book Bag Drive. We're about 35% of funds raised. Got a long way to go in a short amount of days. The first Book Bag Drive is July 30th here in Jacksonville, Florida, with the football camp on the 31st. The next one is in my hometown, Tallahassee, Florida, August 6th. For the Book Bag Drive, August 7th. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, to make a huge fucking announcement so y'all can see how great it is when the community comes together. Any leads, anybody who wants to make donations to where we can make sure we get to our goal of 2,500 book bags. Not 25,000, that's a decade from now. 2,500 book bags that are going to be given to these kids, fully stuffed, fully furnished with 9 weeks worth of school supplies. Would greatly appreciate that. Check that out. Also, there's a young man, I hope he's going to be at my Micanopy 1851 event. He just transferred in from Florida State. He is a defensive back. Shit, I'm trying to remember his name right now. Forgive me, but his family lost their home. He was at Louisville. Anybody remember that young man? But big man, big heart. Nonprofit started by Dylan Gibbons. Florida State, again, this is what you could do with name, image, and likeness. You can actually support kids now when something tragically happens to their family. His family is not asking for a lot of money. They're just asking to be able to get their life back on track as things, as they find a new home, as they do other different things. I'm a big proponent. Whether you're, if he wasn't an FSU athlete and I found out about it, I would still tell people to support it, but support your own. And I talked about this. You want to show that Florida State or your university is strong in the name, image, and likeness department. You show the future by how you handle the present and the past. It's easy to say we give $1 million NIL deals, but if your past and your present guys are struggling, there is nothing that's showing us that you have a strong fan base. If our past players like Leroy Smith, who's doing a great benefit gala tomorrow that I'll be attending, if my book bag drive, if those things are fully packed and fully supported, when we got players who have issues that's fully packed, fully supported, that's when you know we're going to be at the next level of things and giving. So on that note, appreciate you guys, man. Thank y'all for coming hanging out with me, and we'll see you guys next week. Make sure you check out the different channels.
Watermelons and
You ready,
worms.
man?
Yes, sir.
All right. Right there.
Look like you got it real.
Yeah.
Right on it. Yes, sir.